All right, today we're going to talk about something that's hiding in plain sight. It's the one master formula, the one equation that powers basically every single realistic digital image you've ever laid eyes on.
You know that feeling, right? You're playing a new video game, and for a second, you have to do a double take. You think, wait, is this a movie? Or you're watching an animated film, and you're just floored by how real it all looks.
Well, what if I told you the blueprint for all of that, it was actually figured out decades ago? Just look at this picture. I mean, it looks pretty modern, doesn't it? Well, this was rendered all the way back in 1986. How is that even possible?
The answer, it turns out, is a single, super elegant equation that just changed everything. But to really get why it's so powerful, we got to go back and look at the problem it was designed to solve in the first place.
So, let's start with the big quest, the holy grail of early computer graphics, realism. The goal was to fake reality, perfectly. And to do that, they had to tackle one absolutely massive challenge.
And that challenge? It was light. See, in the real world, light is, well, it's messy, it's chaotic. It doesn't just go in a straight line from a lamp to an apple and then right into your eye. No, it bounces off the apple, then it hits the wall, it reflects onto the table, and then it gets to you. This whole crazy web of bouncing light is called indirect illumination. And for the longest time, early computer graphics just had no idea how to properly simulate.
So instead, the entire field was kind of built on a patchwork of clever tricks. Think of it like a toolbox full of very specific tools. Each one was great at faking one little piece of reality, but none of them could capture the whole shebang.
Okay, so back then, there were basically two big competing methods. On one hand, you had ray tracing. This was awesome for shiny stuff, mirrors, glass, you name it. It worked by tracing light rays backward from your virtual camera. Then, on the other hand, you had radiosity. This was the master of soft, matte surfaces, like a painted wall. It was so good it could even fake how the color from a bright red wall might bleed a little pink onto a white floor next to it. The problem? Ray tracing couldn't do what radiosity did, and radiosity couldn't handle the shiny stuff.
So the bottom line is this. Graphics programmers had all these powerful, specialized tools, but they were missing a single unifying theory. They needed a master formula that could handle every single type of light all at once.
And then, 1986 happened. A groundbreaking paper was published that basically proposed a theory of everything, but for light and computer graphics.
This paper, from a Caltech researcher named James T. Kajiya, made this incredibly bold claim right from the get-go. He said basically, hey everyone, I've got a single equation here that can unify all those different tricks you've been using.
And this is it, the rendering equation. Now, I know, it looks a little intimidating, but don't worry, the actual idea behind it is unbelievably simple. This is the formula that describes the entire dance of light in a scene. So let's break this down, because the concept is just, it's beautiful. All it's saying is that the light leaving any single point is just the sum of two things. First, any light that point is creating itself, like the filament in a light bulb. And second, all the light hitting that point from every other direction, which it then bounces off. That's it. It's so simple, but it accounts for, well, everything.
But of course, there was a catch. A big one. The equation was perfect, in theory, but trying to actually compute it directly was, well, impossible. Why? Because that scary-looking integral symbol basically represents an infinite number of light paths you'd have to calculate. So Kajiya didn't just give us the problem, he also gave us a brilliant way to approximate the answer.
Think about it like this. The old way, ray tracing, was like trying to calculate a massive family tree of light rays. With every bounce, the number of calculations just explodes. But Kajiya's new method, which he called path tracing, was totally different. He said, forget calculating every single branch. Let's just follow one random path at a time.
Okay, so here's how it works. To figure out the color of just one pixel on your screen, you shoot a ray out into the virtual world. When that ray hits something, you just randomly decide where it's going to bounce next, and you follow that one single winding path all the way through the scene. Then you do it again. You shoot another ray, follow another random path, and you do this over and over hundreds, maybe thousands of times for that one pixel. And when you're done, you just average all those results together, and boom, you get the right color. It's basically using statistics to solve an unsolvable math problem. So clever.
And Kajiya also came up with a really smart sampling technique to make this whole process way more efficient. If you just used a basic statistical method, you'd get a really noisy, grainy result. That's the top curve you see here. But his new method, that bottom curve, it gets to the right answer much, much faster and with way less noise.
So, okay, we have an elegant theory, and we have a practical way to solve it. The only thing left to do was to see what it could actually do. And this, my friends, was the dawn of true photorealism.
And wow, did the results speak for themselves. On the left, you've got a scene made with standard ray tracing. On the right, the same scene, but using the rendering equation. Now, I want you to look really close at the floor on the right. See that faint, soft glow right under the sphere? That's light bouncing off the sphere and hitting the ground. That right there, that's indirect illumination. The old method completely missed it.
But this was the image that really showed off what this equation could do. I know, it might look a little dated to us now, but you have to understand, back in 1986, this was absolutely revolutionary, a total game changer.
And here's why it was so mind-blowing. For the very first time, all the essential ingredients of realism were all there, in one image created by one algorithm. You've got color bleeding. See how the red floor casts a little reddish tints on the bottom of those gray pillars? You've got caustics, those bright, focused patterns of light made by the green glass spheres. And look at the shadows. They're soft, not perfectly sharp, because the equation just naturally handles how light bounces and bends around things.
So this wasn't just a small step forward, this was a complete paradigm shift. It gave the entire field a rock-solid, theoretically perfect foundation to build on for decades to come.
And its legacy? I mean, it's literally everywhere you look. After it came out in '86, path tracing based on this equation quickly became the gold standard for movie special effects. Then, as computers got more powerful, it started powering entire animated films. And today, when you hear all the buzz about real-time ray tracing in the latest video games, yep, you're looking at the direct descendant of the ideas from that one paper all the way back in 1986.
It's just incredible when you think about it. A single equation from almost 40 years ago laid the foundation for our entire digital reality. It really makes you wonder, right? What's the next master formula out there just waiting for someone to find it?